How's it going, everyone? This is Kazi. Today we are editing a car. It's a Fiat 500. This is tutorial number 1. I usually do car photographies and portraits. Sometimes it's really hard to get a hold of people, so I mainly do cars and street photography, but we're gonna see how we edit this car. I usually like the warm tone. I like it to be like a bit sunny. Like you can see, I'm using this big ass light that I bought. Let me show you. So this light has like, I don't know why I'm showing you this, but like it can turn warm. I don't know if the camera's catching that. It can turn like blue, right? It can turn like hue. So I like the warm tone better. So like it's like blinding my eye. So a couple of things I want to do to this video, obviously, because I don't like how dark it is. So I'm gonna raise up the brightness. So mess around with the basics first. You know, raise up the brightness, maybe at a 50. You don't want to raise it too much. You don't want to bring in too much noise in the photo. But you can always like use the other like highlight shadows, and they can all help you like change up the noise. You want to keep the noise minimal as possible if you're looking for like a crispy photo. You don't want like a smudge photo, or like when you zoom in and it's all pixelated and it's all like messed up. You don't want that. You want to keep the noise as low as possible in a photo. So you want to crank up the exposure a little bit. I always take photos underexposed. So when they're underexposed, you can always expose the photo. You can always bring up the highlights. You can always bring up the shadows and the blacks and lower the whites. But if you take an overexposed photo, it's gonna be like all like messed up, and it's completely destroyed. You cannot get the photo back. So the first thing you want to do is like raise up the brightness, and I usually go like a lower contrast. 15 is okay. 15 is okay. Highlights. So with highlights, I usually like to crank it up. I like a lot of lights in my photo, like the source. I like when the light's flaring out from the source and into the subject. Obviously the subject is the car. As you can see at the back, there is that little space. I'm gonna make the light go into outside of the car. You know what I mean? Raise up the shadows. I want more details around the car, more details around the wheels. And bring as much detail as you can. So I usually crank it up to like about a 60, but be careful of the noise. When you raise up the shadows, it does introduce a lot of noise. And whites, I usually keep the whites as is, and the blacks I raise it up like maybe like a 7. Yeah, a little bit, not too much. You don't want to make it like, you don't want like no blacks in your photo. And with the temperature, you want to raise the temperature up to 15 is like my liking. It has a bit of like a warmish tone to the picture, so it's very easy to incorporate the red into the photo afterwards. So it's very easy to manipulate that. With clarity, I like clarity. Sure, let's give clarity like a 5. Vibrance, let's bring down the vibrance. We are gonna raise the vibrance later in the color. We're gonna raise up all the brightness. All the vibrance. Saturation, I usually bring it down to about 15. Again, we are gonna raise the colors. It just helps you make the picture look like it's a raw image, and you can always crank up the colors later on. So this is one of the most crucial thing inside. Oh, look how huge my mouse goes. This is the crucial part of the whole like Lightroom app, right? So the tone curve. So a lot of people shy away from the tone curve because they find it very intimidating. I think it's one of the best tools you can use on Lightroom. So a couple of things. So these are your shadows right here. These are your highlights. So I usually take the shadows and lower the shadows. So this is where I'm manipulating the colors again. And I usually bring a little bit of fade into it. Then I crush it here, and this is perfect. And bring up the highlights. So this will help us with the light. So as you can see, the picture is already getting a bit lighter. It already looks nice. Yeah, I'll show you. It still looks messed up. Okay, I still gotta fix it up a bit more. This is the HSL. So like this is where we bring the colors. You can play around, find what works best for you, and you can use any color you like. So the first thing are the hues, right? So the main subject is the car. So with the hues, you can decide whether you want to like pick it up or drop it down. So for example, like this will completely change up the color of the car. It's orange now. One thing I learned from a lot of YouTubers about photography is that never change the color of the car. If you are especially working with a car company, you don't want them to go like, okay, what the heck is this? This is not my car, right? So you want to keep the car neutral as possible, work around the car, right? It's a respect to the subject as well. If there's such a nice vehicle, don't manipulate the colors. But I'll manipulate the shit around it, obviously, because I don't like the green too much. So the green, we can bring a bit more warmness. If you go the other way, it's gonna look like oh, this actually looks not bad, but I like the green a bit better. Okay, with Orange is fine. Orange will change the color of the car, so I'm gonna leave that. Okay, and yellow. Okay, yellow. So it brings a bit redness. So I like a bit redness. So I keep always yellow down. I don't really like that much of a blue in my photos, so I don't really like mess with blues. Then saturation. So for saturation, I keep the reds deep. So I want to bring up the saturation. With orange, I keep it the same. With blue, I lower the blue because I want more green. And with green, I lower it. I bring it up to saturation to get a bit more green into the photo. So I keep it about 30 on the green. Luminance. Raise up, raise down. I like the subject to be a bit bright, so I bring it up to 50. And the greens, I bring it down because I want like this to be a dark photo, like a moody photo. Because it's under the bridge, I'll bring down the luminance to 75. And I don't really care about the other luminance; they're okay. Highlights, so split toning. Now here is what I like to do is bring a bit of gold and a bit of redness into the photo. So for shadows, I mean like green into the photo. So for like highlights, mainly the light source, I like to keep it orange. So I bring it a bit orange. As you can see, it already transformed the photo. So I bring up the orange here, so you can see it has like an orange feel. Here I'll zoom in. You can see like the picture's already looking fantastic photo. So shadows. So shadows is where like the ground part is, like right here. So you want to make that part like green. So I usually go up to the green side, not too much that's like that messed up the image. Bring it very low, like about a 5. And you can see like it already has like a greenish reddish tone to the photo. Then what you want to do is, so this box right here, the detail box, this basically zooms into the most sharpest point of your image. But always like for if you're especially using it for Instagram, like Instagram, what they do is like they compress and they lower the quality. So what you want is to bring up the brightness just a little bit up, not the brightness, my bad, the sharpness up just a little bit more. So when you do post the photo, it's not as pixelated. The sharpness helps it to balance it out. So you want to keep like the sharpness about, I usually keep it about like a 10. Okay. So you go down, blah, blah, blah. Okay, 50, details, whatever. Noise, so usually crank up the noise to like a 15. It helps it smoothen out the photo, reduces the noise, and remove chromatic aberration. My lens is already perfect, don't worry about that. Okay, so vignette. So vignette helps like focus the attention to the photo, to the subject of the photo. So I usually bring it down to like a 10. It gives a bit of a darkness circle around it, so you can already see like the subject is already like almost like protruding out of the photo. Grains, it depends. I usually give like a grain of a 5. I like the raw filter vibe on the photo and not too smooth. Dehaze, there's nothing to dehaze because there wasn't enough like fog or mist. I usually use dehaze early morning shots, early in the day when I'm doing street photography. That's when I really need like the dehaze. Again, we're gonna go back up to the split tone. We're gonna go up to, not the split tone, we're gonna go up to the, so this thing here is called the graduated filter. One of the best tools of Lightroom is the graduated filter. Now I'll explain why. So you can use that to manipulate any colors you want anywhere. So for example, I'll quickly delete these two. They were previously in the photo. So the first thing you do with a graduated filter is that, let me show you. So bring that in. So I like, when I'm shooting car photographies, I like the ground to be like dark, to be like black. So I'm gonna bring it up here. I'm gonna bring it down on the corner and make the road darker, so the subject pops out even more. So I'm gonna bring it down to like a -1, and also I like to increase the clarity because I like a rawness on the ground, so it's like more like edgy and like it looks nice when the car is on top of the edgy ground. So I usually crank it up to like a 10 and it gives like a raw feel right here. And bring it up here and make sure you're not like doing the car as well. So if you can see like right here, it's getting on the wheel of the car. So what I usually do is I grab like this brush, right? So there's a brush option right here. I click on the brush and I go down and I click on erase, and then I use the erase to like get it off the wheels of the car, because we don't want the car to be clarified or like underexposed, because we want the wheels to show and shit. So I'm gonna cut this out. Bring this up. Okay, so you can see it already like moved away from the car, so like only the ground is underexposed now. So what we do is we grab the graduated filter and like we graduated filter here, and what I do is like I want the ground to be a bit greener, so I usually bring it up to a green. Make this go away, please go away, go away. Okay, there you go, went away. And take the green Usually I like to play around with it a little bit to make like to see where the green is. So this is where, okay, this is actually perfect green. So another thing what I do is it's too bright, it looks like I painted the ground. So I'm going to bring down the brightness even further, and you can see it already has the green shade to it, so it actually looks really nice with the red of the car. And what I like is this light source right here. So you're going to grab this brush tool right here, and what you'll do is like brush this part of the card. So I'm going to brush it. If you want to see, press circle, hit circle on your keyboard, and you're able to get this area greened out, and you can see where the green is going, and this is where a light source is going to be. So I'm going to bring it down here, and that should be good enough. So what I'm going to do right now is bring up the brightness, so you can already see like the light is increasing, and also the highlights, you're going to increase that as well. And what I like to do is like spread the colors, so the more further out. So I just do it like this, I spread it out to make it look like it's flaring out. And what I do is I come down here, click on color, go on orange, and you're gonna see automatically it's gonna have like an orangish background to that color area. So you can already see how like there's an orangish vibe coming from the back of the photo, right? With the green, it really complements it, showing that the green is on the darker side, and then you have like the orange coming from the back. And what I do is usually I grab another graduated filter and I bring it down from the top, because it looks nice when you're coming from the top. Well, honestly guys, with photography, it's mainly whatever you do, whatever pleases your eye, right? Obviously, like, you don't want to like edit a photo that goes like this. Okay, this looks horrible with the top, look at that, what is that, right? You gotta like, that's so much noise in that photo. You gotta bring it down, increase the brightness a bit. So you want to complement it. If there's a darker area, you want to keep another part like a bit of a wider area, and I kept that white. And what I like is a bit of redness in my photos. I really like colors. So if I want to bring this red here, okay, yeah, right there, that is a perfect red. Bring it down just to the top of the car and hit done. And also I want to make this a bit more gold, so I'm going to click here and I'm going to make this a bit more gold, so not orange, this is like literally orange, a bit more yellow into the photo. There we go, a bit more yellow. Alright, perfect. And you can see like there's already, let me show you a full screen of the photo. So you can see like there's already like there's a lot of color, a lot of contrast, the shadows are all raised up, and this is something that I would post. And for Instagram, obviously there's like the original sizes. I like to keep it like this. This looks perfect for me, and this is how I would edit my photo. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'm going to be filming more street photographies, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to bring you along the way, bring you along the journey to see how I film, what equipment I use, and I plan on to work on this YouTube channel, and you know, hopefully something turns out. Buying all this equipment, I'm using another light at the back, there's a mic connected, there's a light here. So I spent a lot of money, so you know, I need to make that money back. So if you guys can help me out, I can, you know, make more videos. So make sure you give this video a thumbs up, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.